Hello and welcome to another edition of Small Games on YouTube. You will have noticed a slight change this time. We won't be looking at model aeroplanes. We will instead be going back a bit further and looking at samurai. Mainly today the brand new second edition box set for Test of Honor. So this is version 2 for Test of Honor. I've literally just had this delivered this morning. I've spared having a look at it because I wanted to have a look at it with yourselves today, and here it is. So without further ado, let's take a look. Right then, so this is approximately, I suppose it's just a little bit smaller than an A4 sized box. They've said this isn't a sort of a battle box set. This is more of just a pack of the gaming aids, basically updated versions, because if you had Test of Honor version 1, you've got all your soldiers in that you need as well. You've got your little books, your battle books and rule books, a few counters, dice, that kind of thing. This is all just the gameplay, the gaming aids. So you've got your, well, we'll see what we've got in here, but it's not in this. There aren't any armies or anything like that. However, we do have a little bonus figure here we're going to have a look at. Right, so let's go and take a look on the back. Right, now there we are. The so that's the aforementioned figure and a few pictures from inside the book. Right, and so Test of Honor, the Samurai Miniatures game. The Emperor is weak and the might of the Shogun falters. Loyal samurai, consummate warriors trained in the art of the blade, must do their master's bidding without question, walking a fine line between duty and dishonour. Test of Honor is a skirmish war game played with forces of 5 to 10 models, led by a samurai hero. During each bloody battle you will learn new skills and face a choice between the path of righteousness or the lure of deceit and treachery. Right then, there's the box contents, but we're not going to go too far into that because we are going to open the box and drop straight in. Right, and so again, yeah, you're not appreciating this, but there's a proper waft. I'm getting the lovely waft of freshly printed card and paper. Okay, now I'm aware that a lot of people who might be watching this may have picked this up themselves, but obviously if you're out there, if you had the first edition or have always fancied it, you can pick this up. I think it was about £35, the set. It gives you everything you need to play minus the figures, but the plastic figures that weren't the most detailed, however they were very good, fit for purpose and simple to use, fun to have a play with. They're still available on the sprue or in the big box sets from Warlord Games. As I say, you got the separate sprues, but you also got the sets for their Pike and Shot game, I believe it is. Right, and so without further ado, let's have a look what we got in here. So first things first, the brand new tokens, front and back. These are a lot similar ones from the previous set. So you've got your samurai tokens, Ashigaro or commoner tokens, your fate tokens, blood spots, that front and back, front for 1, back for 2. These are your cautious move, I believe, and your reload musket. What are these ones? Okay, so these ones here will be your objective markers, so slightly less elaborate than the previous ones. You've got the numbers on the back in case you need to use the random numbers, and so it's pretty much the ones that were already available on the previous card. However, we do have the lanterns. Now now these were previously weren't available on the sheet. They were the little cutouts from the Darkness and Deceit set. Now I don't know if I'll be using these because I've just, up until now, I've still got to paint them, but I've been using these little ones from TT Combat's Far East or Eastern Empires range, whichever one it's called, I forget. However, I do reckon, because these are but two-sided, so they're lit and unlit, so it might just be a case of when they're lit, I can have that on the ground and place that on top. But yeah, they're a little less detailed all round than their predecessors. However, I do quite like these. I do like the simplicity of them, so I'm sure we'll get a good mix of both, depending on whose set we're using. Right then. Up next we've got a new set of dice. These are, let's have a look at them. So a new set of dice, got eight in this set. I think it was 10 in the previous one. They are ever so slightly bigger. Actually, they're quite a bit bigger than the previous ones. Also noticed they're in red, however there were some red ones of these available. Have these changed at all? So we've still got one sword, one of two blanks and an X. So yeah, that's the same as it's always been. So that's not changed. And as I say, we've got 8 of them this time as opposed to 10. But yeah, no. Yeah, no. I mean, they're always a funky little dice, aren't they? These ones. Right, and we're going to one of the most exciting parts in my mind is the little what is currently a special edition figure that is right now only available in this box set. I've had a look at him. Someone else owned him, and I don't know if you can quite pick that up on here, but it looks absolutely incredible. I mean, is it Futsal Miniatures that provide these? Now, I've used one of theirs before, and it was good, but this is something else. They've really sort of upped the game with this. It's so, I don't know whether it's just because it's hot off the new press, but there's good details and very little. Although I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it's just so smooth. So I'll look forward to using that. In fact, he will become my new hero. I know G, who I'll be playing this against mostly, he won't. He hasn't. I think he opted for book and cards. So I think he'll be. This will be my unique man for my force. But look at that. I like that. If and you've been seeing the trailers for the PS4, we've got the Ghost of Tsushima. I think it reminds me a bit of the character in that, whose name escapes me at the moment. But yeah, I think it'll make a good little sort of an armoured hero for my in our campaigns. But there you go, lovely. Okay, so next up we have the character cards. Again, I'm quite excited having a look at these. Let's get these open. Okay, so this is the new look card. Obviously some impressive artwork on them. Let's just have one of the old style ones. I think this is the same one. So Samurai and Armored Samurai Hero. Yep, these will be the should be the same one. So yeah, the cards. I think the new versions look a lot more impressive, despite the obvious similarities. The artwork's fantastic. That's actually the same chap as on the box art. So points value's the same, and other characteristics look the same. Now, so we can just read that wording. We've got keywords of armoured melee weapon, clan, and samurai class. These are keywords or rules, or however they're naming it in this one. So, yeah, and we've got a whole pack of those. So, a little flick through, shall we? So, we've got unarmoured samurai hero this time. So that's good, because we didn't have that in the previous box set, and my actual samurai hero I use in games is unarmoured, and as you can see, my new one I'm going to be using in games is also unarmoured, so that's good to see. Battle worn samurai, devoted samurai, battle worn. That's a new one on me as well. So he's okay, so similar to the wise and devoted, only he has what is that? He has the wise, the sort of basic non-hero samurai, devoted samurai. So he has additional strength and a bit less honour. So obviously the not stood the test of time so well, and it's taken its toll on his honour. But again, they have the same keywords as the predecessor, as the armoured samurai hero. And here we have a otherwise samurai. Right, and this guy's a little different this time, because he has his wits are a little higher as they were before, as you would expect with the wiser samurai. Yeah, okay. This is cool. So this is a lot more interesting way. I'm going to have to allow a bit more time to go through these. Okay, cool. So we've got Travelling Samurai. That's a new one as well. He's got he's unarmoured and he's a bit faster. So I suppose he's similar to the unarmoured hero. What else have we got? There you go. So these are the ones. Ashiko Sergeant of Archery. Let's go Sergeant. Sergeant of Gunnery, this is another new one. Oh, this is really good, this. I wasn't expecting so many new cards in this one. Well, they're new on me. I know there's other sets available, so whether or not these were already about. Yeah, cool. So, Sergeant of Gunnery, so may upgrade his weapon to a musket for 1 point after the Sergeant completes a move or reload action. One friendly Ashigari follower, not a veteran, within 3 inches, may take a test of wits. If passed, they can remove a reload token. So that could really come in handy. So is that one friendly Ashigari follower? So that's presumably going to be either a single or a group. So we've got the Standard Bearer, Musician, Man with a Shell. Okay, so we've got Spearman, Spearman group. So these are the experienced. Bowman, Bowman group. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll save a lot of these. I've got the other teams, or potentially the other teams one here. So we've got the repeated cards here with a different colour on them. So presumably, like in the previous set, that's the other team's side. Okay, so I'll save these a bit more for any games that we play or future videos, and talk about them then, because there's going to be a few other new bits in here I want to have a look at. Pathfinder, it's a new one. Okay, the Pathfinder card. So upgrade 1 group or 2 single followers, the warrior and okay, so these are upgrade cards, are they? Oh wow, so there's a few here then. So bow or musket, so upgrade 1 character to carry a bow or musket. Impetuous Rage. Upgrade 1 group or 2 single followers. When charging at least 5 inches, the warrior gains 1 dice to damage roll. Cool. That can definitely come in handy after some of the recent games I've played. I've been a bit of a late comer to this game, but no, I've been enjoying what I've been doing, so I've been quite looking forward to this new version. So upgrade 1, what's this? Reloading practice. After a shooting attack where the strike roll was passed, the warrior may take a test of wits. Pass can remove a reload marker. And Pathfinders, the warrior and friends within 6 inches can move actions up to 5 inches through rough terrain. Cool. Right, here we have onto all the cards available. I won't go again. I don't want to go too much into these, but here we have these dishonour cards which can be taken. So the difference this time being that they're all actually have different effects. So again, I won't go too much into those because I don't want to this would be too many spoilers. Should have said that at the beginning, spoilers alert. I'll put a note on the actual description. Here you go, and these are your honour cards. So I was quite excited about this because I suppose it's similar to because honour's a big deal to the samurai under their code, and I suppose it's like in 40k with the Astra Militarum, or the Imperial Guard as they were called back then, when they started getting the orders. You know, we'd always heard what a big deal it was to them, their rank and the orders, and that's always what made them win through. So when we got the orders, that's fine. Like, yeah, there you go. So because we hadn't had any evidence of it before, well, here you go. Now honour is available to your samurai warband, and again, these all have their own different features, which I won't go into much into right now. Right. So we've got new injury cards, or fairly self-explanatory. Once again, tells you on the card what's wrong. These are your quests. Got 4 in here, have we? I do have some of the other old ones if they're still working, but I'll pick up the other sets as well as we go along. And here are your skill cards. I'll have a bit more on that in a second. Oh, and there's the other one. Right, awesome. So, I think this will be last but in no way least, onto the rule book. Right, so again, I'm going to go through this now. only a quick little go through. Once again, I'll say it right now. Should have said it at the start. Spoilers alert. I'm not going to go too much into it. I'm not going to ruin it for other people, but just so we've got an idea. A lot of I think Graham Davey has been quite open with this. He's been very active on the Test on a Samurai Miniatures Game Facebook page, and he's told us a lot of what new additions there are to the game, and also. I've been asking a lot of questions about what we'd like to see, and it was obviously always great when somebody shows so much interest to the community that Testimony has no doubt picked up. So I'll just really I'll only mention it if it's already been mentioned effectively, if it's already out there as a rule. So here we go. So once again, we've got the little intro that I've already read. Okay, table of contents. Little unarmoured samurai character again. Travelling samurai, I'd probably said he more was, with that cloak and hat. Warring Clans. Okay, so we're getting a bit of history this time, which obviously the previous book, a lot of things. This book here. Sorry, I should have said already. I'm liking about it. It's a small book. It's I dare say it's going to be fairly to the point, but it does appear to have a lot of the stuff we like to see. It's got a bit of history in there, as you can see. Got a bit of a map of the area of Japan and the location of the associated clans, but it's also got the bits of artwork throughout, and here we go, coloured some coloured pictures of miniatures here, which are all things you'd like to see as you're flicking through the book, and something that was previously missing from the other editions. That's good. And what I have heard about this is basically all the previous material all gone into one. So so anything what was previously a lot of little leaflets, little leaflet style books, is now all in one big book. Although hopefully I'm sure we'll have some further content. Okay, so we've got the game elements here. Now this all looks pretty familiar, and will be to most of you, because I know a lot of the actual gaming rules haven't changed that much. It's just little tweaks here and there. So here we go. So prep battle. Talking about the counters, how that works. Important terms: warriors, heroes, champions, and characters. I think this could be important actually. So the leader of your force is called your hero. He may have up to 2 companions. Heroes and companions are collectively referred to as characters. So that'll be your other. So I'm pretty sure before we could have any number of not heroes but other samurai warriors or equivalents, but now it appears you can only have 2, so they're companions then. Okay, so that's good, because I was actually playing a game the other day where I was kind of looking at it thinking, well, if I just literally took samurai for absolutely everything, that would be a bit wrong, not in the spirit of the game, but that would be an option. But now it's gone. So because they do the samurai characters and heroes do seem to stand poles apart from the rest of them. But yes, excellent. That has been addressed this time, by the look of things. Don't quote me on any of this, because I'm only flicking through, not really reading properly. So turn summary, drawing versus taking out. So presumably that's you draw to see whose turn it is, whereas taking out, you take them out when you're doing things like responding to an attack to defend yourself in the turn end of the game. So again, we've got actions. All looks fairly self-explanatory, as we'd expect. So making an attack, injuries, loss of nerve, groups of warriors, mounted warriors. Right there, this is a thing that was spoken about a lot. Got cavalry movement, which basically is just add 3 to movement, charging, shooting actions as they currently exist. To make them 9, 9 and 6 respectively, but also cavalry in combat. Now this is something that was challenged a lot, because cavalry, apart from a bit of an extra move, they were more sort of at a disadvantage. However, obviously on this time it's been discussed, and it's here, poorly armed opponents, which in this case generally those armed with missile weapons, you'll gain an extra dice when you strike against those. And in turn, that's if your mounted character or warrior is armed with a melee weapon itself, so not a bow or a musket. Enemy infantry armed with spears gain a +1 for their avoid, and Naginatas gain a +1 for their melee strikes. So as opposed to just gaining a +1 for their melee strikes in both, they get one thing depending on the weapon. So that has balanced that a bit. Because I know people were saying it's more of an infantry-based game anyway, which, yeah, fair enough. But offer one, I've got about 12 mounted figures from one. I'm sure anyone who's brought the 2 box sets will have the same. So it's although it's not the main focus, it's still a big part of it. And as you play bigger games, you're going to want a few horsemen or upgraded, almost effectively sort of upgrading your characters to cavalry. So it just makes sense to give them something. Right, and so we've got other warriors in the way, shooting, battlefield terrain. So this, what we see, has had a bit of an upgrade. I know they discussed a lot of this, but yeah, okay. So yeah, we've got quite a few extra. I won't go into too much right now because I'm sure anyone who's watching this interested is going to pick the book up anyway. But there you go. So it looks like we can now. So enter buildings, climbing is in there. Yeah, climbing, leaping. Damage from falling, cavalry in terrain. So there's lots of new bits for terrain which weren't previously discussed. So weapons, there are many different ways a warrior might be armed. Yeah, it looks like that. So there are upgrades we can kind of give them now. So we might see more of that rather than just assuming what weapons they have. There you go. So there's your keywords that we've already discussed on the cards: armed or unarmed. Unarmed. +1 agility, damage, yeah, so that's the same as before, and the different classes of warriors and quickfire. Yep. Okay, there's our list there. Obviously having it on the back last time was convenient. However, I think free on the website there is a warrior reference sheet available, which I imagine, I should have really looked at that first, but I imagine it's all going to be on there. But again, you can kind of just print that off and have your own little copy to hand. There you go. So you've got weapons. So there you go. That's all your weapons bonuses. So skills. Yeah. Honour and dishonour. So yeah, you go. That's going into the honour and dishonour cards. So it looks like you. So you're going to act with honour. You basically do it with 1 less dice. So they worded it as. Your enemy is busy fighting another warrior. Do you creep up and aim for his back or his head, or clear your throat to give him a moment to react? Okay, so I mean, some might say that's honourably at the end there. I'd say, well, if you're in that kind of situation, you're probably best to just go and do the dishonourable thing. But hey, that's why I'm not a samurai, I suppose. Yeah. So again. Yeah, it does look good. Adds a bit of fun, obviously. Yeah, it can be difficult to lose the dice, but then you gain a reward later on down the line, and obviously various awards or negative traits for each one this time. So yeah, it's going to be fun to have. It's a lot of simple changes, but they are going to. Looks like they are going to have quite a lot of fun to the game. So there's quest cards again. Right, so here's your battles. Right then, so battle 1, first clash. That is the good old 2 samurai heroes bump into each other at a temple and gob off a bit, and it ends in a bit of a fight. That's your little school. It's your little playground scrap. But having escalated a little bit mission, because all the missions from the continuous battles from the battles book are here. That one's, I just noticed that as I was flicking. So it's the same kind of thing with the pre-arranged group, only we've got a musket man and a bowman instead of 2 bowmen, which it was last time. I think, again, we'd probably make some little changes to ours, but that's just because obviously we've played it a few times now, so... But that's it, once you get to know what you're doing, you're free to decide all of that. So that's playing your battles. Scenario rules. Carrying, escorting victories. Darkness, there you go. So you've got all those bits. All those new bits from the expansions seem to be included in here. So there's your link battle. So that carries on the battles that we know and love from the previous game, from the previous set. There you go, your geisha spy, who looks very similar to the hostess from the Unlikely Allies set, but hey ho. I think that's, from what I heard, that's kind of the reason why that set was in existence. Okay, so we've got some standard battles now. So we've got dual control, search, seizure. Ambush, yeah, so these, again, some of these we're going to be more familiar with from renditions. Further battles, so some new ones altogether. Undercover Raid, wow. Undercover Raid, that might be interesting. So, assassination, ninjas, there you go, that's what we like. So, here you go, character progressions, this is like your campaign play. So, so characters presumably are going to be the samurai class warriors. So you've got after battle sequence, which will be retaining honour or dishonour cards, mastering skills. So this time you do potentially get to keep your skill cards from one battle to the next. Rolling on the aftermath table. For each character of the battle, and discard all of the cards. Okay, and that's your sequence. So you've got retain your honour or dishonour. So if you've got more honour cards, you make a roll to see if you keep them. And if you've got more dishonour cards, you make a roll to see if you keep that instead. So if you pass it, you keep that, and if you fail your dishonour roll, you'll keep the dishonour. And you'll keep that negative trait and positive trait, depending on which one it is. Mastering skills. So at the end of the game, players can choose one of the skill cards from among those gained by the character during the battle. Okay, so you keep one of those. Also got your aftermath. So things like you get permanent wounds, so you'll carry those with you. Serious injuries, not yet healed, drained. And then you've got positive traits as well. There you go, so you get you roll a d6 and you add 1 or subtract 1, depending on whether you ended it without any injuries or cut down. Obviously you can gain experiences, gain little notches to your cards. And then finally we've got discard or fate of the fallen. Okay, so we've got other ways to play. And just multiple games. Oh, so you can have team games as well, or big battles. Oh, there you go. So, oh yeah, so plenty going on. So deck building, big battles. So yeah, right then. Well, I'm not going to go on any further because I think I've waffled on about this too much. Believe me, I can go on about it all night. But hey, you'll have to have a look for yourself and make your own mind up from there. But hopefully I've got you looking at that right now and thinking, that's the game for me, I'm going to pick it up. It's available from testofhonour.com or .co.uk, from Grey for Now Games, Graham Davies' own company, and it's also available on, is it Footsore Miniatures? It's also available from them as well. Right, so that's it from me. Thank you very much for watching. Very soon we'll be looking at start kicking off the campaign with submissions, and when I say very soon, I mean I'm going to be doing those probably in the next couple of days. So not guaranteeing they'll be up in the next couple of days, but as soon as I can get around to doing them. But thank you ever so much once again for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and please, for daily updates, check us out on Twitter at Small World Games. Thank you very much from me, and good night.